Yo guys, what is up? Look around you. The whole world is completely losing its mind right now. Why? Because the 2026 World Cup is happening right here in our backyard. The US, Canada, Mexico. The streets are packed, the stadiums are roaring, and absolutely everybody is obsessed with the ball. If you're sitting here in America thinking, I just don't get this sport. Why is nobody scoring for 45 minutes straight? Don't worry, today I'm gonna overly simplify this beautiful game. We're breaking down the basic rules, the positions, the histories, and the most important thing, the meme. First off, let's get this thing straight. The name. Americans call it soccer, while the rest of the world calls it football. But here's the thing. The British actually invented the word soccer in the 1800s as the upper class university slang for association football. They brought it over here. We keep it, and then they just abandoned it just to make fun of us for a century later. So call it what you want. Let's dive into the basics. And hey, make sure to stick around until the very end. Once we get through the rules, we're diving deep into the drama, the toxic meme, the culture of the sport, things that you would love to know. And trust me, you don't want to miss out on this. Let's have a look at the pitch. The field is basically a massive green rectangle. The touch lines, or the long sides, are 90 to 120 meters long, and the goal lines are about 45 to 90 meters long. Right in the middle of the pitch is the center circle with the kickoff spot, where the player is kicking off to start a half or after a goal. Nobody else is allowed to be inside of that circle until the ball is actually touched. Right in front of the goal, you have two crucial boxes painted on the grass. The 16.5 meter box, or the Ronaldo box, and the 5.5 meter box, or the 6-yard box. The big 16.5 meter box is the zone where the goalkeeper is legally allowed to use their hands to play the ball. If the defender commits a foul in there, the attacking team gets a penalty kick. But what's the main difference between the two boxes? In the smaller 5.5 box, the goalkeeper have absolute priority in physical duels. They're basically the daddy in there, unless your opponent is Arteta and his friends with the dark magic from Corner FC. So, how do they actually score? The beauty of football is that you can score with almost any part of your body. Your left foot, right foot, your middle foot, your belly, your chest, your shoulder, your head, your hair, your hand, if you happen to be Maradona. But for 99% of players, the rule is no hands. Alright, now for the one rule that confuses every single American: offside. And yes, I will overly simplify this for you. You cannot cherry pick. You just can't start a campfire or be in Ronaldo versus Congo and camp out right next to the enemy goalie waiting for a 50-yard pass. When your teammate kicks the ball forward to you, there must be at least two opposing players, usually the goalie and one defender, between you and the goal line. If you start your run too early and you are behind the last defender before the ball is actually kicked, the referee will raise a flag, and there you go, you're offside. Now, let's break down the 11 guys on the pitch, because they are divided into very specific, highly stereotyped positions. First, the goalkeeper. They are the only players legally allowed to use their hands. Their job is to protect the net and stop the opponent from scoring. In football, they say a good goalie is basically half of the team. We have a sample like Buffon, Casillas, Neuer, and Honorable Child, David De Gea. People say Prime De Gea can even save the Titanic. Right in front of them are the center backs. Their job is to defend the penalty box and literally hold the opponent's back. These guys are actually built like a brick walls, massive, they're tall, and absolutely terrifying. Off the pitch, they're a loving family man, but on the pitch, they'll headbutt you. Next, we have the central midfielders. These guys are the engine of the team. They have flexible feet, they shoot well, they pass beautifully, and they are usually handsome. Their only major flaw, they'll complain about absolutely anything. And yes, I'm talking about you, Bruno. I'm just kidding. Prime Bruno 2026 for the Ballon d'Or. Yay. Out in the wide, on the edges of the pitch, we have the wingers. This is where the love for most football fans start. The players who love to show off their personal skills, they are the dancers on the pitch. If you watch football back in the day, this was prime Neymar, Ronaldinho, or Cristiano Ronaldo. Today, it's players like Lamine Yamal, Michael Olise, or the kneeling rising star Yan Diomande. They're just cliff farming defenders. And finally, the striker, the goal scorers. Their one job is to put the ball into the back of the net and bring victory to the team. Unless you're Liam Delap or Isaac. If it was a knockout match, like the ones we are watching in the World Cup, ends in a draw, two teams will go into extra time. If nobody managed to take the lead after that, the game is decided by the most nerve-wracking event in sports, the penalty shootout. Each side gets 5 shots. Whichever team scores more wins. If it is still tied after 5 kicks, I'll call it sudden death. They just keep shooting one by one until one side wins and the other side. But how did we get these rules? A lot of people absolutely love football, but not everyone knows this sport has been around for thousands of years. If you look it up on Wikipedia, the Chinese were actually the first to kick the ball in an ancient sport called Suju. Su means kick and Ju means ball. Very literal. It's like football, foot and ball. However, England is widely considered the true birthplace of modern football. Also, according to Wikipedia, football with rules similar to what we see today started getting popular in English schools in the mid-19th century. The oldest modern rulebook is known as the Cambridge Rules. But back then, amateur clubs just made up their own rules, most notably Sheffield United, the oldest club in the world. Having different teams play by entirely different set of rules made refereeing an absolute nightmare. So to standardize everything, the Football Association, or the FA, was created in 1963. They dropped the first official rulebook in the sport of kings and organized the very first official tournament, the FA Cup, which still play every single year. Fast forward hundreds of years, and football has evolved into the most captivating sport on the planet. According to FIFA, over 240 million people across 200 countries play it regularly. Modern football isn't just about the official rulebook. It comes with a ton of unwritten rules, terminology, and memes. For example, not scoring a completely wide open goal is known as, and scoring a double is referred to as double. Scoring 3 is a hat-trick, and scoring exactly 1 goal and defend with the whole team is called harambo. But football world is not just the players and referees. We have to talk about the managers, the guys responsible for training the players and creating the complex tactics for every match, also known as the boss. And some of the best, the most elite managers are usually middle-aged, always smiling, and bold. Yeah, that's the point, bold. I'm talking about Pep Guardiola, Enzo Maresca, Zidane, Eric Ten Hag but luckier, and Ruben Amorim, but bold. Or if we look at the younger generation, we have Kepa. They bring extreme professionalism, unique tactics, and absolute sideline entertainment to every single game. Because of the massive culture diversity between football nations, every national team, club, or even player has a specific nickname tied to the history, achievements, or play style. For example, the German national team is famously called the Tanks because, well, you know why. Brazil is called Samba dancers. They're great at dancing, but terrible at playing football. When it comes to clubs, we have the most controversial, heavily scrutinized teams in the history of the sport, Manchester United. Absolutely anybody doing anything at these clubs is analyzed by the fan, the rivals, the media at their absolute peak toward the terrifying Red Devils painting Europe red. But currently, they're a banter club. They just sit at 15th place last season and they lost to Spur in the final. And you cannot talk about football players without mentioning the legends of the game. Let's talk about Cristiano Ronaldo. During his prime, they called him CR7, Mr. Champion League. But now, people just call him Camo, Penaldo, Mr. Saudi Arabia. But hey, you know what? Taking a penalty is not easy. And I firmly believe CR7 will score a penalty hat-trick next match. Sweet! But wait, there's no more World Cup matches for him, right? I guess see you at the airport. And of course, if you mention Ronaldo, you have to talk about his eternal rival, Lionel Messi. The man has been going crazy at this World Cup so far. Honestly, FIFA President Infantino, he must be so proud of his son right now. Messi is basically a football alien who maxed out every single stat in football except for penalty taking. Miss Pan has lived up to the hype so far. But chalk aside, he's arguably the greatest World Cup player we have ever seen. 8 goals and 4 assists in 7 matches, which is just crazy to think about for a guy who literally spends like 80 minutes of the game casually walking around the pitch, scratching his bottom, and looked like he was looking for his daddy before suddenly walking up to destroy the entire defense. But all joke aside, they are the 2 greatest players ever in the history of football, in my opinion. So enjoy while you can. That day is closer than ever. We talked about the history, the past, a little bit of the present, because Messi, he's still pushing it. But let's actually start talking about the present. This is the man who trying to rule the modern era, and he is Kylian Mbappé. Let's rewind to the year of 2018. Back then, he was the ultimate golden boy. He was a teenager moving at light speed. He's literally one-man army carrying his nation to World Cup glory. Fast forward now, and things have drastically changed. Welcome to the era of dictator Mbappé. Kylian dictador, Kylian dictador, Kylian Mbappé, Kylian dictador, el que manda en el campo, el hombre de fe. Alright, let's continue. At PSG, he wasn't just a star player. He evolved into Vice President Mbappé, the undisputed ruler of entire dressing room. The memes wrote it themselves because he basically ran the club from behind the scenes. We're talking about absolute power here, from ordering the stadium maintenance team to fix the grass exactly how he liked it, to ordering the referee. Yeah, you heard me right. The referee, he ordered him, Michael Oliver, to give the captain armband to his vice captain. If dictator Mbappe doesn't like the manager, sacked. If he doesn't want a certain player involved in the team anymore, sold. Pack your bags. But honestly, say what you will about the drama, while dictator Mbappe hasn't captured those massive, outstanding collective team trophies in these recent years, but individually, he's always completed excels at his main job, scoring an unbelievable amount of goals. Those are exactly the spicy ingredients, the deep history, the endless drama, the nicknames, the dictators, and the toxic memes that you love, that make football so universally appealing. It has become a massive inspiration for countless works of art, from novels to comic books to TV shows to movies and anime. Everywhere you look across the globe, you can find the footprint of the royal ball. So, grab a jersey, pick a team, learn some memes, and enjoy the World Cup final. Drop a comment down below telling me who you are rooting for, and smash that like button, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Sweet!